The second baseman, Jose Altuve, leads off, batting second. And playing shortstop, Marwin Gonzalez. Jed Lowry at third base will hit third. Cleaning up the right fielder, Colby Rasmus. Evan Gattis, the DH, bats fifth. Batting sixth, playing center field, Carlos Gomez. Luis Valbuena at first base will bat seventh. Batting eighth and playing left field, Jake Marisnick. And Jason Castro is going to catch, and he's going to bat ninth.
Returning to the mound for the first time since July 24th is Michael Pineda, one of the disabled with a strained forearm. This will be his 20th start of the year. He's looking for his 10th win of the season. And opponents batting .277. Let's check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. He's been solid at Yankee Stadium. 16 career starts here at the stadium. In 12 of those starts, he's allowed 2 earned runs or less. And his strikeout to walk ratio is the best in the big leagues. 117 strikeouts, just 15 walks. And he faced Houston in June down at Minute Maid Park, and he came away with the dreaded complete game loss. He pitched well, but lost by a score 3-1.
Well, the Yankees certainly need a healthy Pineda for the stretch drive, so this is an important start for him, an important start for the team as well. Altuve ready, Pineda is ready. And let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch is a strike. We're underway. Sam Holbrook, the home plate ump. Trip Gibson at first, Gabe Morales at second. Eric Cooper is over at third. Astros were helped out by the Blue Jays yesterday with a ninth-inning comeback against the Rangers, who were charging hard against the Astros. So the Astros picked up a game, and the Yankees lost a game because of the Blue Jay comeback. They're a game behind in the AL East.
Good off-speed pitch. Had Altuve waving at air.
The 1-2. 2-2.
I heard Jack Curry say that Pineda wanted to throw more changeups. He just threw one.
Lined into center field and caught on the short hop by Gardner. A base hit for Altuve. Let's take a look at the Yankee defense presented by Geico. In the outfield, Chris Young's at left. Gardner's in center. Ellsbury hurt his hip on that first inning diving attempt, and Joe Girardi couldn't even guarantee that he'd be ready Friday in Atlanta. Beltran's over and right in the infield. Headley, Gregorius, Drew, and Bird third to first. McCann behind the plate. Pineda's on the mound. Here's Marwin Gonzalez. Tries a drag bunt and fouls it off.
Yeah, the Astros rookie Carlos Correa getting the day off, so Marwin Gonzalez can play just about anywhere on the field, and he's going to be at shortstop. There's so Gonzalez. He started games at second, short, third, first, and left field. And he's appeared in right field. So you can plug him in anywhere.
I'll tell you what, Kenny, we are definitely in a different world. A 20-year-old shortstop has to be rested. It's amazing. How did Cal Ripken Jr. ever do it?
Well, the Astros have tomorrow off, so that's basically giving him 2 days off.
Makes even less sense. So they're tomorrow off. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Gonzalez down on strikes. Let's check out the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. 80 degrees, not much wind, humidity 38%. It's really a gorgeous day, sunny skies and comfortable humidity.
It should be like this forever. Of course, then we'd be in San Diego. Now, Altuve hasn't gotten on base very often in this series, and he leads the league in stolen bases, so you know he's got to be itchy about trying to steal a bag.
But the guy behind the plate, Kenny, has really earned the nickname McCannon. It's been unbelievable. He just shuts a running game down.
Yeah. So it's a good matchup. Altuve with 32 steals leads the American League. There's a toss over to first, but he also leads in being caught. He's been caught 11 times. And it makes you think back to the days of Ricky Henderson. Ricky stole all those bases, but he was also the all-time leader in being caught stealing, I believe.
There he goes. Throw to second. Close. But Altuve's in. A stolen base for Altuve.
That's number 33 on the season. He got a decent jump, and it is a very good throw right on the bag. The quick tag, and Altuve makes the call himself. Watch the right foot. It just got in there ahead of the tag.
So now Altuve in scoring position. Astros lead the American League in home runs and in stolen bases. The most recent team to do that, and there have only been 4 teams in the American League to do that, the 1995 Indians. And the other 3 teams, the Yankees, 31, 33, and 38.
I know the Indians had Albert Bell,
Kenny
Lofton, yeah. They were their big leaders as far as home runs and stolen bases were concerned. Watch Pineda today. Just see if he can keep his pitch count down early in the ball game so he can go deeper into the game. 80, 85 pitches can come up pretty quickly if you struggle in an inning or two. So far in this inning, he's used his fastball, he's used his slider, and he's used his changeup. So he's trying to get a feel for all 3 pitches in the early going.
Ground ball to second. Drew is there. And Altuve moves to third.
You know, it was a little subtle move by Stephen Drew at second. Now, it was a routine ground ball the second, but he looked to see what was happening with Altuve when the ball's hit. He knows he has plenty of time to get the runner at first. You never know. The runner going from second to third could fall down, and you might have an easy play at third. So all you youngsters out there, you just take a look. You never know what can happen. A runner going to third base. He had plenty of time to get Lowry at first. Just a little subtle play.
Here's Colby Rasmus.
Oh, it's up, son.
1-0.
Now, Ricky Henderson was caught stealing 335 times. That's the most ever, but he still had an 81% success rate. And if you're 75%, you're really good.
There's a strike. Just underway here in the Bronx. The Yankees and the Astros. Yankees won the first game 1-0. Lost yesterday 15-1.
Yeah, the Astros put together 3 big innings in that game, and that was all she wrote.
Rip foul, just foul. Nice play by the ball boy.
Another satisfied customer.
swing and a foul ball.
Another thing you look for from Pineda today, if he can repeat his delivery. And one thing about him, we talked about his ability to pound the strike zone with all the strikeouts and the relatively few walks, only 15 walks this year. It's because he can repeat his delivery and just pound the strike zone with pitch after pitch.
One, two. 2-2. And the pitch. Missed outside, 3-2.
It looked like Pineda's walking off the mound. Thought it was strike 3 call. Watch the glove of McCann. Close, but maybe around the plate. We get another look. Yeah, that was just a little out. Good call by Sam Holbrook, the home plate umpire.
Altuve at third has a nice lead. Strike 3, Rasmus down looking at a fastball. Good first inning for Pineda. No runs a hit, one man left. Astros nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat. Up batting second, playing right field, Carlos Beltran. The DH is Alex Rodriguez. Catching, Brian McCann cleans up. Batting fifth, playing third base, Chase Headley. Greg Bird at first base will bat sixth. Mark Teixeira really had a hard time running yesterday, so he's going to get 2 days off. The shortstop is D.D. Gregorius. He'll hit seventh. Batting eighth, playing left field, Chris Young. Stephen Drew at second will bat ninth.
There is 28-year-old Colin McHugh. He's the one who beat Pineda down in Houston. That was on June 28th. And he's having himself a very good year. 26 start, looking for his 14th win. More than a hit per inning. He's up there in strikeouts, though. Let's check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Honda dealers. Last year he was the Astros Rookie of the Year. Although this year he's had some problems with right-hand batters. They're hitting .306 against him with 10 home runs. In his last start, he ran into Chris Archer of the Tampa Bay Rays. Archer struck out 11, pitched a one-hit shutout, and McHugh lost 1-0.
Brett Gardner will lead off. He's had a pedestrian homestand for him. 5 hits and 29 at bats. And there's a strike. In fact, the Yankee offense has really gone into a slumber. In fact, if you start on August 5th, that's 20 games. Opposing starters against the Yankees have a 2.53 ERA. And the Yankees are hitting just .201 against those starters. That is a long stretch of offensive struggles.
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on your starting pitchers to try and hold the opposition down day in and day out.
Gardner chases a high fastball. He goes down on strikes. Why don't we check out the Astros defense presented by Geico? Marisnick's in left, Gomez in center, and Rasmus over and right. In the infield, Lowry, Gonzalez, Altuve, and Valbuena third to first. Castro behind the plate. McHugh is on the mound. And if you're wondering how those offensive stats calculate into runs, it's about 3 runs a game. Beltran with a 9-game hitting streak.
He's the one that's been carrying the team, getting the big hits. And the Yankees have been fortunate enough. He's come up in big situations and have been able to come through. Just about everybody else has been struggling. Beltran, the only one over 300 this month.
And that average just went up. as it bounces up against the wall, and Beltran has to stay at first with a single, and he has a 10-game hitting streak.
He kind of held himself to a single. He hit the ball so hard. One thing about the Astros outfield, all three of the outfielders are capable of playing center field, and they all three have strong arms. Rasmus plays this well off the wall, and as I said, it was a rope off the bat of Beltran, and he kind of holds himself to a single. Well played by Colby Rasmus. He gets the ball back in quickly, and the Yankees have a man at first. Well played by Beltran, too, to hold on at first base.
A-Rod swings and misses. You know, coming into that at bat, Beltran, we gave you the last 20 games for the team. Well, he's carried them. 333, 5 homers, 14 ribbies, 11 runs scored, an OPS of 1.061. So that continues with a base hit here in the first. Alex fouls it back 0-2 now. On the flip side, Alex has been struggling, and Teixeira's missed 8 of the last 9 games.
You know, it's interesting because when you're struggling as a hitter, sometimes you try and be quicker. And I always felt that you should kind of relax and slow things down. Just try and hit the ball back through the middle and go the other way instead of trying to be quicker, because what happens, your front shoulder opens up, the ball gets away from the catcher here, Castro, and Beltran can move down to second on the wild pitch. You try and be too quick, and all of a sudden your mechanics are completely off. Your front shoulder flies open. Here's the pitch from McHugh. Castro does get looks like he got a foot on it, nothing else, as Beltran will head down to second base.
So now a runner in scoring position for A-Rod, 1-2 count. Breaking ball misses inside, and the count 2-2.
The breakdown from McHugh is very similar to all the pitchers on the Astros staff. Much better record at home, although his ERA is better on the road. Just a .500 pitcher on the road, but 9-3 in Houston.
Swing and a miss. A-Rod down on strikes. On the road, he's 4-4, 3.71, better ERA, but he wins more games at home, 9-3, and a 4.20 ERA.
Yeah, it kind of goes along with the way the team plays. They're very good at home, but on the road they have struggled.
There's Brian McCann. 1-0. McCann 10 for his last 31. The average at 248, 22 homers and 75 runs batted in. Breaking ball drops in for a strike.
McHugh does have a very good curveball. Originally signed by the New York Mets.
Bottom of the first inning here at the stadium. Astros don't score on the top of the first. Yankees have a runner at second, 2 outs, and McCann at the plate. The 2-1. 2-2.
McCann just a hair late on that one. Had a very good pass at it. Sometimes pitchers read the bat. They can see the hitter has a good swing and a pitch, and they try and stay away from that area.
Missed inside.
Like a little cutter. Trying to get in on McCann's hands. McCann just checks just in time.
Three-two. Still 3-2.
McCann's been a big part of the Yankees' ability to score in the first inning. They've scored 102 runs in the first inning.
High pop-up. Right side. Altuve makes the play, and that will do it. No runs to hit, no errors, and one man left. We go to the second inning. Nothing.
See it, but I think this is all a product of highlight shows, and players know that when they do something pretty well during the course of a game, it has a chance to be on the TV highlights.
That one's driven to right field and deep. Beltran back. That ball's gone. A home run for Gaddis into the short porch, and it's 1-0 Houston.
Gaddis had a home run here last night. This is his 21st of the year. This is what the Astros do. They lead the league in homers. Let's see where this pitch is. It's up, number one, and all he had to do is get good wood on it. He's a strong man, and he rides it into the lower deck about 3 or 4 rows back. And we're going to see this one on Yes Mo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. And it was on the borderline of the strike zone, but Gaddis puts it out of the ballpark. So, my point was, Michael, that in all sports, they know that scoring, whether it be a home run or making a good play or, a big dunk in basketball, the camera's on them, and they're going to get their 15 seconds of 15 minutes of fame in 15 seconds.
But you know what I'm saying, Kenny? In basketball, in football, a guy sacks a quarterback. His team's down 35-3.
Yeah.
He's dancing around.
No, I don't go for that.
But the other team doesn't take it out on him. In basketball, if you dunk and you scream out, the other team doesn't. In baseball, it's like they take offense to it. Now with Gomez yesterday, I mean, I've seen him do much worse. So he flipped the bat. I thought it might have been connected to that slide early in the game.
It wasn't.
But if it was just that bat flip, I understand the Yankees are chapped. They're down 9-0 as he goes down on strikes. But, I mean, really, was it worth the bench is empty?
Yeah, well, fortunately, nothing happened.
Right.
Because you're right. I think it was a combination of a lot of things. It was like the perfect storm. The Yankees are getting, as Joe Girardi said, getting their butts kicked last night. And it's 9-0. And he's upset he didn't hit this one 900 feet. And as he's coming back to the dugout, he's telling somebody to shut up. I don't know who, but he said it multiple times. And John Ryan Murphy, I think, did the right thing. You don't allow somebody to walk by your bench and tell people to shut up.
Valbuena with a fly ball to left, and Young is there to put it away.
And I give big props to Eric Cooper, who's now the third base umpire today. He's the crew chief. He was behind home plate before things really got going. Eric Cooper diffused everything. You saw him push Gomez away. Certain players come into ball games with certain reputations that things can fly off the handle quickly, and Gomez is one of those guys.
I mean, I love the tradition of baseball, but I think sometimes it serves as a speed bump to the sport, too. Marisnik takes a strike.
Well, I think baseball's been around longer than the rest of them, and those traditions have been built up over a longer period of time.
Right.
What you should be doing and what you should not be doing on the field. Or the court, or the football field. See, my whole thing, if I hit a home run, I just go around the bases, come back, shake everybody's hand. I don't want to get the next time up, get the ball thrown at my head. I didn't want that. It's not going to help me, and it's not going to help our team.
1-2. 2-2.
And I mentioned the Astros are leading the league in home runs. I don't know. The Blue Jays have been closing on them.
That one goes to Drew. And that'll do it. Not sure if Pineda got a piece of it, but it's the final out of the inning nonetheless. But Evan Gattis swings at the first pitch of the second, a high fastball, and drives it to the short porch and right. When it lands, it's Astros 1. Not guaranteed that he would be ready for the series in Atlanta. So that could be a big loss for the Yankees, and we'll keep an eye on that. Here's Chase Headley against McHugh. And a strike.
It could be a bigger loss because they're going to have to do without Alex Rodriguez for a few days, too.
Yes.
Headley's looking for his first hit in this series. He's 0 for 6. And we saw Gattis hit the home run. And by the way, the Astros do lead the league in homers. They've hit 173. Toronto has 170. But I think one of the more impressive things about the Houston team this year, they play in a bandbox of a ballpark. Everybody knows that, and that's why they've hit so many homers. It's one reason why. But while they've hit the most, they've given up the fewest. And to me, that's even more impressive, considering where they play half their games. They do a good job of keeping the ball in the ballpark.
And Headley down on strikes. 3 strikeouts for McHugh.
It looked like he went for the two-seamer, the break back over the inside corner. Headley was on it, but he missed it.
Here's Greg Bird, and they shift for Bird. 3 infielders on the right side. Pitch outside. The guys had a cup of coffee here in the big leagues, and they already have a defensive alignment for them and trends. Sure, they took a look at some minor league spray charts and things like that, but pretty amazing. And he's known as a line-to-line hitter, but they see something different. Kenny, John Flaherty mentioned it when I was doing the game with him. It seems like a lot of teams are going with a high fastball with Bird, and that seems to be a little bit of a blind spot.
And they're trying to crowd him too. And yeah, it's up to him to make the adjustment. You start hitting a few of those, then they're going to go to something else, and something you might like better to hit.
And Bird down on strikes.
McHugh has looked strong in the early going. 4 strikeouts, 2 last inning, 2 this inning. And as we said, he's having a good year. It looked like he was going for a little cutter over the outside corner. Got Bird to swing through it.
The pitch to Gregorius is off the glove of Castro. All of the Yankee offense has come in the 9th inning of the first 2 games. 1 run apiece. A lot of zeros against this Astros staff. Fly ball right field. Rasmus on the run. He can't get there. It dunks in for a base hit for Didi.
Not particularly well hit by Didi, but well placed. A little dunker out in front of the Rasmus in right field, so he's on with a base hit. Gets his day started pretty nicely. Second hit in the series.
Here's Chris Young. He's in an 0 for 21 slide. And there it is. It breaks an 0 for 21. A base hit to left center. Gregorius will move to third. And Young is off the snide. First and third, 2 outs.
Well, you figured if he's going to break out of it, it'd be against the Houston Astros, a team that he has hit very well in the past. He's from Houston, Texas. And this is for the folks watching back home. Base hit through the left side. You can see Gregorius come across your screen. He's on his way to third. And the Yankees have runners on the corners with 2 down. Third hit for the Yankees in the game.
Here's Stephen Drew. Pitch outside, 1-0. Lined right at Altuve, and the Yankees strand 2. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left. The Yankees threaten, can't get a run in. The Astros. There's Jason Castro, and the pitch is high from Pineda as we start the third.
Castro, the 9th place hitter, former #1 draft pick of these Houston Astros back in 2008 out of Stanford University. And he went back and in a couple of off seasons got his degree in sociology. So education, of course, important to him after 3 years at Stanford.
Fly ball right field. Beltran puts it away. 1 out.
And Castro is the player rep for the Astros.
Let's check out the Honda League leaders, and this is about American League hits. Ian Kinsler of the Tigers leads with 153. Nelson Cruz having a really good season, 151. Altuve tied him with his single in the first with 151. Then Prince Fielder, a great comeback season after neck surgery. Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah, Bogaerts, one of the few good things going for the Red Sox this year.
Chopped to short. Nice hop for Gregorius. And he gets Altuve steaming down the line for the second out.
Yeah, you have to really, anything hit to the left side, you got to hurry up and make the play. He puts some pressure on you. Watch him come out of the box here like he's shot out of a cannon. Now Altuve first went to tryouts, got turned away, not once but a couple of times, and he kept coming back, and eventually they signed him.
Oh, it's outside.
Gonzalez low.
You know, the first thing the scouts look for, pitchers, position players, they look at the size of the players and project, you know, they'll grow even bigger and stronger. especially 16, 17 years old going for tryouts. But one thing they can't measure is the heart of the player and how hard he's going to play.
Drag bunt attempt. They can measure everything else.
Yeah, they can't measure that. And I give Altuve big props for determination. Let's see if the ball hits him when he's out of the batter's box. And Joe Girardi's coming over to talk to Sam Holbrook as well.
Joe, I'm sorry, that's not.
And I don't think that's reviewable. You heard Holbrook say that's not reviewable. And we get another look. It's kind of hard to see the box here. The front end of the box is probably right up here somewhere.
Ground ball to Drew, and Pineda works a 1-2-3. Third inning. He's retired 6 in a row since the Evan Gattis home run in the second. We go to the bottom of the third. It's
Hilton of SWAT.
Audi A3 scoreboard 1-0 Astros.
I'm thinking of that promo that the Yankees did earlier this year from the movie Sandlot.
Right.
Recreating that scene. Brian McCann was great in that. The Yankees were knocking on the door last inning, but McHugh wouldn't let him in. They had runners at first and third. Drew hit that line drive to Altuve at second. To end the inning.
Boy, Gardner is getting overpowered by fastballs of late and also swinging at pitches up around his neck. So 2 strikeouts for him.
5 down for McHugh. And what he's done with Gardner, he's gotten to the point with 2 strikes and he's got him to elevate. Try and get on top of a high fastball. He puts it up there. You can see it pretty well as a hitter. It's near eye level, but he can't get on top. One hitter that's been able to get on top of that fastball lately is Beltran. We saw him hit a couple of high pitches in Toronto into the seats.
Let's see if they green light Beltran. A-Rod's on deck. McHugh deals. They do green light him and he pops it up. Lowry on the outfield grass. 2 outs.
One of the dangers of giving a hitter the green light on 3-0. I know it works out every once in a while, and he might pop one in the seats. But I think when you're a hitter and you get the 3-0 green light, that's what you think you're supposed to do. You're supposed to hit it into the seats, and sometimes you try to do too much.
Our late colleague Bobby Mercer always said that he hated a green light on 3-0. He said you're probably going to get the same pitch on 3-1. Breaking ball strike to A-Rod. Ground ball and grabbed by Lowry, gets to his feet and gets A-Rod as the Yankees are retired in order 1, 2, 3. 3 in the books here in the Bronx on a beautiful Wednesday in New York. It's 1-0 Astros. That game will be Thursday, September 3rd at 7 p.m. We'll see if Jim could turn around the Wolverine program that fallen under some hard times under Brady Hoke.
Big Ten football is a pretty tough conference.
Lincoln scoreboard 1-0, top of the 4th. The 0-2. Nice play there by Headley to the glove side. Fires a strike to Bird to retire Lowry. Well, this is the only game this afternoon. Oakland at Seattle will start at 3:40. Everything else is at night. Minnesota, Tampa Bay, 7:10. Boston at the White Sox, 8:10. Baltimore, KC, 8:10. And Toronto at Texas, 8:05. Here's Colby Erasmus. And a strike. Oh, Kenny Pineda looks pretty good.
Yeah, he does. It appears that the rehab starts did what they were supposed to do, get him ready for this start against the pretty solid Houston team. Houston's been in first place in the West for most of the baseball season. And it looks like, you know, his deliveries, but just basically the way it's been all year long. And as we said, he usually pounds the strike zone like that.
That one is lined into left field, the base hit in front of Young. And Rasmus with a 1-out single here in the 4th.
You can see the movement. It looked like it might have been changeup, down and away, and Rasmus stays with it, pumps it into left field.
Here's Evan Gattis. Hit a home run to right field in the 2nd, the only run in this game. He has 21 homers on the season.
Gattis has had a good series. He's got 5 hits in this series, including 2 home runs.
Years old, and they got him from Atlanta this January. A right-handed pitcher, Mike Fultonevich, Rio Ruiz, an infielder, and Andrew Thurman, a right-handed pitcher.
And if you got it, you're pretty happy about that deal, because in Atlanta, and he was almost like a man without a position. Over here in Houston, he's been primarily the DH just about all the time, and this role has fit him perfectly. He came up as a catcher, played some outfield, but now a designated hitter, and he's been hitting.
Rounded up the middle. Drew steps on the bag, one on the first, hits a 4-4-3 double play. No runs a hit, no errors, and because of the DP, nobody left on base. Right up the middle. Pineda let it go, and then Drew turned it into 2. There's Brian McCann on the Lincoln scoreboard, 1-0 Astros, and McHugh drops a breaking ball in there for a strike.
Slow hook to go along with a decent fastball. He's got a 2-seamer that he throws. He's mixed a lot of these pitches up well. I wouldn't really call him overpowering. It's just that he has a way of making his fastball look a lot quicker than it really is.
Grounded to first. Valbuena takes it himself. 1 out. Pretty good pitcher who the Astros got by claiming him off waivers from the Rockies in December of 2013.
The Mets actually traded him to Colorado for Eric Young Jr. And then that's where Houston put in their waiver claim, got him from the Rockies. And I think if you're a pitcher pitching at Coors Field, you might be ready to move on somewhere else.
He didn't exactly move to a pitcher's ball.
No, not exactly.
But it's not Mile High.
No, it's not.
He was an 18th round pick in the 2008 draft by the Mets.
There's that good curveball we talked about. No swing as Eric Cooper makes the call. And now Headley has himself in a hitter's count.
3 infielders on the right side for Headley. Lowry is the lone infielder on the left side. And the 3-1. And that's up the middle. There's no fielder there. A base hit for Chase Headley, his first one in this series.
Well, Headley's been a 300 hitter after the All-Star break, and as Michael told you, the shift was on. Nobody home, or just one player home on the left side, and that was Lowry, but he was playing a little bit more towards the third base line. Headley picks up a hit. He's on with 1 out. And sometimes it's the little dinky hits that get you going in the other direction. There's a good hook. 12-6 type break.
Bird swings and misses. 0-2.
Heard David Cohn use the term get ahead of the hitters and then work him over, which means it's like having a hitter on the ropes. Show him a fastball high. Let's see what he comes back with. One pitch sets up the next.
High pop up left side. Lowry, 2 outs.
That was a pretty good pitch to hit. It caught too much in the middle of the plate, but Bird was late on the swing. Had a little cut to it, cut back towards the middle. And a little late, and he popped it up.
Here is Gregorius, single to right in the second inning. Yankees had a threat that inning. First and third, 2 outs, but Stephen Drew lined out to Altuve. 1-0.
Yeah, Bird popped up that pitch. He had 2 strikes on it. Sometimes you get a little bit more defensive when you got 2 strikes. If that pitch had come maybe earlier in the count, he had more of a forceful, aggressive swing. He might have hit that a little better.
One and one. 2-1. Missed with the fastball.
So Castro hesitated a bit before he threw the ball back, and McHugh kind of shake his head. They thought that had part of the corner.
Two and two.
And this time it goes in McHugh's favor.
Check swing, grounded foul. With his base hit in the second, Gregorius is average at 253.
You think back to the beginning of the season, the Yankee fans were wondering would it ever get that high. He was struggling around the 200 mark.
And struggling in the field.
Yeah.
Both aspects of his game. So different than at the beginning of the season. The 2-2.
Yeah, I think maybe when you look back at that, Mike, maybe trying to make too much of an impression at the beginning of the year. I mean, he was taking over for an icon in Derek Jeter, and we all know how important the shortstop position is and how the Yankees had it settled for 20 years, basically. Sometimes you have to have patience when a younger player, and in this case, it seems to have paid off.
2-2. Right in on the hands.
McHugh's done a good job of moving the ball around. Basically, early in the count, he kept the ball away, and then his last couple of pitches trying to get in on Didi.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Gregorius down on strikes. No runs to hit, no errors, and one man left. We've played 4 at the stadium. It's 1-0 Astros. With the Gomez thing in today's game? Or is the game too important?
I was about to say, Michael, I don't think so. The Yankees need to be concerned about winning a game and, frankly, scoring some runs. They're not scoring at all. 2 runs so far in this series against the Astros. They have much bigger problems than worrying about whatever Carlos Gomez does on the field.
There's a bunt foul.
By the way, Michael, you see McCann pick up that ball. We know that there's some history between McCann and Gomez, and McCann was asked about what happened with Gomez last night, and he had a ready-made answer. He said, "I was in the bathroom. I didn't see it." And then someone said, "But you did come out on the field." He said, "Well, I came out, but I joined my teammates on the field, but I didn't actually see what happened." And then he further said, "Listen, that's the past. That's a dead issue. It's in the past. It's not something I want to talk about." It was similar. It echoed what Gomez said about McCann after the game last night. Gomez actually said they're friends.
I would say this. I agree with Jack. The Yankees have bigger things to worry about, and that's this particular game today. And trying to solve Colin McHugh's pitching much in the same way that Dallas Keuchel did last night, and that was very effectively. This Houston team, their pitching staff has been tremendous lately.
Kenny, when you think that McHugh was a waiver wire pickup from the Rockies, whose numbers at the time not promising, but the Astros saw something. The Astros saw things they liked about him. They liked the movement on his curveball. They liked that he's a guy who he cuts the ball. He's around the plate. He doesn't generate a lot of hard contact when guys do square the ball up against him. It's not with a lot of damage. I mean, even look at the hit that Headley had last inning for the Yankees. Just a little soft single that he flicked to center field.
He's a pitcher. Much in the same way that Keuchel is. Keuchel didn't throw, I don't think, any pitch over 91 miles an hour last night. And basically today it's been the same thing from McHugh.
Ground ball in the hole. Diving stop by Gregorius. The throw to first. Not in time. Gomez beats it out. Infield single for Gomez.
Only Gomez's speed kept this from being a great play by Didi Gregorius. First of all, the headlong dive. We know he has a strong arm, but Gomez can run very well. You can see he was across the bag and safe. But slower players would have been thrown out on this play. As we watch it on Yes Mo, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz Tri-State Dealer. He does play hard.
Here's Valbuena.
To illustrate my point about the Astros pitching staff, their staff has not allowed more than 2 runs in any of the last 8 games. And that broke a franchise record that was set back in 71 and matched in 2005 and 2010. So that they are dealing as far as their pitching is concerned lately.
Kenny, since August 1st of 2014, Colin McHugh has won 20 games, more than any other pitcher in the American League. And if you had given me 10 guesses before the game and asked me that question, I would not. I have to be honest. He would not have been one of the 10 guesses.
No, the same way. I would not have put his name up there. But a waiver claim pitcher.
The 0-1.
And you wonder if it's a situation, Jack and Michael, where he's hooked up with pitching coach Brett Starr and the pitching coach for the Astros. And it's much in the same way that Nathan Eovaldi's hooked up with Larry Rothschild, and all of a sudden you have yourself a real pitcher. Somebody can help you become a big-time winner. Just says sometimes you hook up with the right coach, has the right approach, and gets the best out of it.
Count 1-2. Greg Bird holds on Gomez at first. Teixeira started last night, not playing today. And Teixeira didn't look great yesterday. You wonder if he forced himself into the lineup.
I think he said, Michael, he was always targeting yesterday as a day to play with Keuchel on the mound, a lefty who just dominates left-handed batters. You wanted Teixeira's bat in there from the right side. I think that was a big part of the reason he played.
Runner goes, and that one is slapped into center field, a base hit. Gomez will go to third, bobbled by Gardner, but no harm, no foul as he runs it in. And Gomez moving down the line as Gardner flips it to Gregorius. So first and third, nobody out here in the 5th for the Astros.
Valbuena with the base hit, a little bit of a flare. On the play, Gomez was on the run, so he gets to third easily. Pops up off the bag like it was a trampoline, and then moves down the line as if he's daring Gardner. I'll tell you, when you're in first place, a lot of things have gone right during the year, and you expect them to go right, and you're having fun playing. And sometimes that can tick off the opposition.
1-0 to Marisnick. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. And a bunt. A safety squeeze. Here comes Gomez. The throw to first, and he is safe. So Marisnick with a bunt single and RBI. Gomez scores. It's 2-0 Astros.
Yeah, Marisnick comes in with a reputation of being a good defensive outfielder. He can play all 3 outfield positions. But when you're sort of like a role player, you got to be able to do a lot of things. And one of them is a very good bunt. You can see that Bird waiting for Drew to get to the bag, and I don't know if his foot was on it or not. Marisnick beats the play. He's safe. Yeah, he was not on the bag. And Marisnick has the base hit. He has himself an RBI. And the Astros are up 2-0.
He placed that bunt in a perfect spot. Yeah. Even if there was no one on base, that's a base hit. And what was interesting to me about that is it was no secret. He had flashed bunt earlier in the at-bat, but he put that in such a good spot, nothing for the Yankees to do.
We got Headley at third with Castro up here looking for the bunt again, but runs at first and second, nobody out. And Castro does not have a sacrifice bunt this year.
Pitch outside to Castro.
And one reason why he might not have one is because he's not a good bunter. In that case, the manager would not ask him to do it.
You're seeing how the Astros apply pressure, though, guys. And Hinch talked about this before Game 1 of the series, that they need to put pressure on the opposition. They need to run. They need to do things like that. That's their game, and we're seeing it unfold right here.
They've got that combination of power and speed and defensive ability, and lately their pitching has been very, very tough. Looks to me they got a hold on first place in the West, and they don't look like they're going to give it back.
Action in the Yankee bullpen as Pineda at 65 pitches. And also, this might not even be a pitch count situation, could be a game situation. The Yankees have been unable to score runs. They're down 2-0.
Michael, with an off day tomorrow and their 5 best relievers all rested, I wondered about Michael Pineda's leash today, how long that leash would be, because of what you just said. The Yankees haven't scored. They need to try and win this series and go on to that road trip having won 2 of 3. So Pineda, you're absolutely right. It might not be pitch count, it might be performance.
Count 3-1. So first and second, nobody out, a run in. It's 2-0 Astros in the top of the 5th. And he walked him to load the bases. So the last 4 batters in the lineup have gotten to Pineda, and here comes Larry Rothschild. Now you mentioned the bullpen. There's another arm out there, Nick Goody. And I know you spoke to him today because he's been up and down and up and down. It used to be called the Columbus Shuttle. Now they're in Scranton. So it's the Scranton Shuttle.
I asked him, Michael, when he got the call that he was being called up to the Yankees, and he pulled out his phone and said that Dave Miley, the Scranton manager, called him at 10:47. So that was about a half an hour after this game ended, as we see Chase and Shreve getting ready. I would think Shreve would be for Gonzalez. Pineda's going to get Altuve here. But Goody said, Michael, what you and Kenny and I spoke about last night, they're well aware in Scranton of the fact that your number might be next. In fact, he was playing video games with Andrew Bailey and Gary Sanchez in his hotel room. They were in Pawtucket, and that's when he got the call. They knew the game was 15-1. They knew Rumbelow had thrown some pitches. Capuano had thrown some pitches. And those were the moves today, by the way. Pineda and Goody on the roster. Rumbelow sent back to AAA, and for the 4th time this year, Capuano designated for assignment.
Bases loaded, nobody out. And Altuve at the plate.
You know, it gives you a pretty good idea that you'll be called up because he didn't pitch yesterday. He pitched the day before. So that means he's the rested arm.
And I gave him the statistic that Michael read last night from the USA Today article about the 101 transactions that the Yankees have had. And he said, yep, I've been part of that.
Big spot in this game. 1-0 count on Altuve. He's 1 for 2 with a stolen base. Count 2-0.
With the way the Yankees are playing, guys, I know it's only the 5th inning, but the way McHugh is pitching and their offense is not scoring, this at bat, this could really tilt the game. Altuve singles and makes it 4-0 here, or does anything that gets on base. I mean, if you're a Pineda, you're praying that you get a ground ball for a double play here.
What adds to the problem is Altuve's tough to double up. He's going to have to hit it fairly hard.
Fly ball center field. Gardner makes a catch. Tagging is Valbuena. The throw is almost cut off by Bird. Trickles underneath his glove. Backing up is McCann. So Valbuena scores. Moving to third is Marisnik, and now it's 3-0 Houston.
Give Altuve a sacrifice fly, but that ball's cut by Bird. He might have had a play at third base on Marisnik, who moved over to third. And if he gets him, all of a sudden there's 2 outs and a man at first. Here's the throw. It's cuttable. Gardner keeps it down. There would have been a play at third base. Bird didn't handle the throw, and the Astros are still in business.
And that'll do it for Pineda. Did okay until this inning. The 2 runners on base hits was out the bleeding. At 3-0. The numbers on Shreve. He's had a very good season for the Yanks. So Marwin Gonzalez against Shreve.
So Gonzalez, his switch hitter, will jump over to the other side of the plate. This is one of those players in the Ben Zobrist mold. Maybe not quite as good as a player as Zobrist is, but the versatility is there.
Off the end of the bat, 0-1.
In that regard, Kenny, I had a conversation with Joe Girardi earlier this year where he was talking about the importance of a guy like Brock Holt. Now, Holt was an all-star this season.
Yeah.
You're not always going to get the guy who's an all-star, but it was the versatility side of things. And Joe said, as a manager, that makes your life so much easier when you have that guy who can play 4 or 5 positions. And he said within the Yankee organization, they have talked about find that guy who can play multiple positions, is athletic enough, and won't struggle if he's moved around from position to position.
Yeah, Joe Madden used to use Zobrist, within a game at different positions.
They show bunt again. Pulls the bat back.
If I were building that player, I think he's got to be a shortstop, because I think if you're a shortstop, you're playing the most important position in the infield. And then presumably, if you're a shortstop, most of them should be able to play third base, play second base. You could probably stick them at first base. Then you start saying, hey, if you can catch a fly ball, you could play anywhere. And I'm not, I know it's not that easy, but that's how I would build it.
No, that's Gonzalez. And it's also Zobrist. And, nowadays, and here's my thinking on that too. And maybe you'll agree with me, Michael and Jack, that if we're going to eventually get to 6-man rotations, you're going to need maybe 1 or 2 players like that on your bench that can do all those sort of things, because you're going to have a short bench, and somebody's going to have to be able to play multiple positions.
Line drive and a base hit to center field for Gonzalez. Marisnik scores. It's an RBI single. Moving to second is Castro, and it's 4-0 Astros.
What makes Gonzalez even more valuable, he's hitting close to .330 in his last 50-something games. So that's the last third of the season. He's well over 300 and plays everywhere.
Well, either you have that sort of player, or you have to expand the rosters to 26 or 27. Here's Jed Lowry. Grounded out twice, once to second, once to third. Foul back to the screen.
Another thing that helps, to have switch hitters. Gonzalez is a switch hitter. Lowry's a switch hitter. The Yankees have a, 3 or 4, 3 switch hitters.
The 0-1. 1-1 on Lowry.
And that helps managers out there aren't worried so much about matchups on a daily basis. You go with the same guys.
Missed outside from Shreve in the count 2-1.
I don't know what you guys think, but I've thought that as the year has evolved for Shreve, and his numbers, as you said, Michael, very good. Obviously, scouting reports get out there. It seems to me like that split changeup, that batters are laying off of it more. He was getting a lot of swings and misses at pitches that were out of the strike zone, and I think that batters are staying away from that pitch a little bit more.
Now 3-1.
They're trying to get into hitters' counts like Lowry is now, and you know, you can sit back and just wait for something, wait for the fastball.
Well, Shreve has to get out of this because there's nobody warming in the bullpen, and this game could get out of hand in a hurry. It's already 4-0, and the Yankees are a team that's really struggling to score runs. 3-1 to Shreve, fouled away. So now 3-2.
They won the opener of this series, Michael, but we're now in the 24th inning of this series, and at this point the Astros have outscored the Yankees 19-2. So you're right, they need to have Shreve shut this down right here and figure out a way to solve McHugh, get some guys on base, some timely situational hitting, which they haven't done much of lately.
Runners go. Foul back.
Once again, the aggressive nature of the Houston Astros.
Yankees get somebody up in the bullpen, and it's Pinder. And he walked him to reload the bases. And that brings up Rasmus. 4-0 Astros. 3 runs here in the 5th. 4-7-0, leading 0-4-0 in a conference with the left-hander.
I think Pinder's going to get ready in a hurry. You have Gaddis up next.
Brendan Ryan spoke last night about facing Colby Rasmus, who was his roommate when they were teammates together in St. Louis, and he said his goal was to strike out his former roommate, a position player striking out a position player. He got him out, so he was still happy with that, and he got one swing and miss, but he talked about how he would have loved to have been able to say to Rasmus, I whiffed you.
I think Shreve would like to say that now too, as he deals a strike.
As it turns out, he had 2 scoreless innings, but he didn't get a strikeout.
And he mentioned that after the game, Kenny, and I give Ryan credit. He spoke about it while acknowledging, as he was talking about it, hey, listen, this was a lopsided game. That's the focus. We didn't win. I don't want to make this about me. But then Ryan did talk about how it was kind of cool to be able to pitch in a major league game.
That one gets through McCann, and another run scores as Castro slides across. Runners move up. The Bluebirds are out here in the Bronx, and it's 5-0 Astros.
This is going to be a wild pitch. Scoots through the 5-hole all the way back to the screen. And sort of a gift run for the Astros as Castro scores and turns this into a 4-run inning.
All of those runs belong to Pineda. Now the 2 runners on base, they belong to Shreve as the Yankees bring the infield in with 1 out. Two and one.
That pitch from Shreve was about a 58-footer. Very difficult play for McCann. But knowing McCann, I bet you he thinks he should have stopped it. He does 20 minutes of drills out in the bullpen with bullpen coach Gary Tuck before every game. And Tuck told me that they are punishing drills. they're meant to equate what might happen in a game, and it's consistent, and it's all of what you see right there, just trying to keep balls in front of you, just trying to block pitches. But that one right there, he didn't have much of a chance.
Usually pitches in the dirt have a little bit of a hop to them. They come up. That one did not. It stayed down.
Time called. Grounded foul.
So if Brendan Ryan never pitches again, he will end up with an ERA of 0.
Right.
Yeah.
Kenny, I asked him when he had last pitched. He knew the team, he knew the opponent, he knew that he threw 3 shutout innings. It was back in high school. Got them into a state championship game, but they got walked off in the state championship game.
He wasn't on the mound, though.
He was on the mound, I guess, for the last 3 innings of the semifinal, right? He did not pitch in the state championship.
Okay.
Michael read that tweet from his wife last night, so I passed that on to Ryan, and he said, well, she basically sees me every night in front of a mirror trying to live out my dream of being a major league pitcher, so she knew how meaningful that was. But that was one lopsided game. The Yankees don't want this one to turn even more lopsided than it is right now. Shreve, big pitch here on 2-2.
Lefty sets and deals. Missed inside. And now McCann wants to go out and make certain what pitch to throw on this full count.
Pinder has stopped throwing, so nope, now he's throwing again. I assume he's ready for Gaddis. This probably is Shreve's last batter.
Second and third, 1 man out. Infield in, 4 runs in. Shreve deals. Strike 3. Rasmus down looking. Big strikeout for Shreve.
Well, whatever McCann said, they worked it to perfection. It wasn't like they were aiming for the middle of the plate and hit the outside corner. And you see Colby Rasmus thought it might have been outside. And he gives a little bit of a glance towards Sam Holbrook before heading back to the dugout.
Here's Evan Gaddis, the 9th batter to come to the plate here in the 5th. And now someone just got thrown out in the Astros dugout. Could have been Colby Rasmus.
It's Trey Hillman trying to.
Michael Rasmus also was called out on a 3-2 fastball in the first inning, so he seems like he's had enough. He was venting.
Well, it's not that he's had enough. It's home plate umpire Sam Holbrook who had enough. That he's the one who makes the difference.
They've both had enough now. Shreve's splits against righties are pretty good. Girardi stays with him. When that split changes on, it can drop and move right to left against the right-handed batter. I'm sure that's what he's going to try and use to get Gaddis out.
And get ahead and then expand the zone. But Gaddis has been a thorn in the Yankee side this whole series. 5 hits, 2 home runs. Leads the Astros in runs batted in. This has quietly been a very good pickup for them from getting him from Atlanta. And, you know, basically telling him, put your glove away. Don't worry about it. Just hit.
The 0-1. Now, the reason that Rasmus got thrown out of the thing that pushed him over the edge. We have video out of respect to kids watching. We're not going to show you, but he kind of made a one-finger salute to the umpire. And I guess the umpire caught it and threw him out. One. Fouled away.
That's what you're talking about, Kenny. He's got the count in his favor now. I'd be shocked if we don't see that split change. He's got to make it look good enough that Gaddis thinks it's a strike, but have enough fade on it that it's out of the strike zone, that he doesn't do anything with it, swings and miss, or hits it somewhere feebly.
Right in on the hands, popped up. Drew is there, makes the play, and that will do it. But the Astros with 4 big runs. They lead 2. We're halfway through. It's 5-0. And Michael Pineda gave up 5 runs in 4+ innings. So Colin McHugh has himself a lead, and the Yankees have to try to chip away. Bigelow T scoreboard shows you the damage. A lot of changes for the Astros defensively with Rasmus being tossed. We'll get them to you as soon as we can. Young singled to left center in the second, snapping an 0-for-21 slide. He's down in the count 0-2.
Well, you see the versatility of the Astros roster because of all these moves now with Rasmus getting thrown out of the game. But several players capable of playing multiple positions.
Swing and a miss. Young down on strikes. So here are the defensive changes. Gonzalez moves from short to left. Marisnik moves from left to right. Valbuena moves from first to third. Lowry moves from third to short. And Carter comes in to play first base. You see the way the Yankee offense is right now, and Jack, I want to ask you because I thought it was telling that Joe Girardi was not that optimistic about Jacoby Ellsbury in Atlanta. What happens if Ellsbury can't play?
Well, you saw potentially what just happened. Chris Young has to face right-handed pitching, and as solid as Young has been for the Yankees this year, and I know he got a hit off McHugh in the second inning. Entering today, he hit 181 against right-handed batters. The Braves are scheduled to throw 3 right-handed pitchers against the Yankees. So if you don't have Ellsbury, and we're not saying they're not going to have him for the whole series, but as you said, Michael, Joe would not guarantee that Ellsbury would definitely be ready for Friday. He said that's a decision we'll have to make when the day comes. If you don't have the left-handed hitting Ellsbury against right-handed pitching, you're going to have to play Young, and that's a difference, especially since Ellsbury 364 over his last 13 games, 8 multi-hit games. He was on an upward trend until he injured himself last night.
Boy, that injury looms so large, and it kind of set the tone for the 15-1 loss. Now, obviously, Nova did not get the hitters after that, but if Ellsbury makes that play and doesn't misjudge the ball, it's the end of the inning. Those other hitters never come up, and Ellsbury doesn't get hurt. So that's a big play, and we'll see how long it keeps him out. 1-2, and Drew has a hit taken away by Valbuena, who went up to get it for the second out.
One guy on the left side of the infield, and he finds him. Good play by Valbuena. Getting up and coming down with his line drive. Drew with some good hitting to the opposite field, but Valbuena's up to the task of making the play. You see the reaction to Drew. The right side was stacked against him. He goes the other way and still can't get it through the infield.
Brett Gardner inside. Gardner struck out twice, chasing pitches up around his neck on this homestand. Brett 5 for 31. And the thing that scares Yankee fans is that Brett had a terrible end of the season last year. And you wonder, he plays so hard and so aggressively, does he wear himself down? And I know that he wants to avoid that as well, because he was having a great year last year until the end.
And the thing about those 2 at-bats against McHugh, Michael, is they're out of character for him. He's not a guy who goes out of the zone like that too much.
And a 1-2-3 inning for Colin McHugh as the Yankees go down in order. We'll go to the 6th. It's 5-0 Houston. In the 5th, actually 2 outs. And now turns it over to Pinder for his 18th game. And here's Gomez.
Yeah, Pinder's been on that shuttle to Scranton Wilkes-Barre back and forth. Strike is called on Gomez 6 times.
Pinder deals to McCann.
Now, Jack, have you driven to Scranton Wilkes-Barre from here?
I have not.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how far the drive is.
I have.
All right.
About 2 hours.
2 hours?
A little over 2 hours.
That's not too bad. So they can get here pretty quickly.
I think the trip here is shorter. When you're going back, it's longer.
Nick Goody was in Pawtucket last night, and he told me that he had a car service pick him up at 7 a.m. So he was ready to go. It took about 3 hours, he said, to get to the Bronx.
All right. Of course, the Yankees are on the West Coast somewhere. You got to have flights, but when you're in the East Coast, and that's been a trend, but from major league teams to have their affiliates closer to the big league cities, so they get players back and forth a lot more quickly.
Logical, sensible. You wonder why it didn't happen sooner.
(3-1) to Gomez, and he walks.
I think the one that made the least sense was years ago when the Pittsburgh Pirates had their AAA team in Hawaii, in Honolulu.
No one wanted to get called up.
Plus the fact when the visiting teams would come over there, they'd play their whole season schedule against them. Say they'd play them like for a week straight.
The Mets have their AAA team in Vegas. There's a lot to do in Vegas as well.
Pitch outside to Valbuena.
Yeah, but players that go there, they don't want to stay in Vegas. They want to get out.
And there's a strike.
I know we've covered the Gomez situation pretty extensively, guys, but I just wanted to throw one thing out there. I thought Gomez made some really candid and interesting comments to reporters after the game last night, and one of the things he said was, if someone else is reacting to me from what I do on the field, that's their fault. Okay, I'll accept that. But take that and apply that to him. Last night, he flipped the bat. The Yankees dugout reacted. He reacted back to them. You could use your logic to him. Do whatever you do on the field, but then you put your head down and you go back to the dugout. If Gomez puts his head down and goes back to the dugout and doesn't say shut up to the Yankee dugout, that doesn't escalate. So you can't ask people to not get unnerved by what you're doing and then you react to their reaction. So that would be my question back to Carlos.
In other words, if he'd kept quiet and gone back to the dugout, nothing would have happened, and there wouldn't have been his fallout today. And here's an escalating situation right here, potentially.
Fly ball left field, and Young makes the play to retire Valbuena.
And the reason why I bring it up, Gomez is at first. He likes to steal bases. That's what he does. If the score was 4-0, I could see him going and trying to steal second. But it's 5-0, and there's a big difference in that one run. That means even if the Yankees hit a grand slam home run, it will not tie the game. And sometimes the opponents, they get a little ticked off if you're stealing when the score is 5 or 6 or even 7-0. Now, they used to get ticked off at Whitey Herzog's St. Louis Cardinals, who stole a lot of bases, didn't hit many home runs. And Whitey said, if you guys promise not to hit home runs, then we won't steal bases. So there's two ways of going here.
I'm actually going on the side, Kenny, that 5-run leads have been lost before. If he wants to steal the base, if that helps the Astros in position for a 6th run, I would not put the brakes on if I were the Astros.
Yeah, but sometimes the other teams feel differently. But I can understand what they're trying to win this game. And if it means he's got to steal second, get in scoring position, he's going to go. The whole idea is to keep him off base to begin with.
In that kind of vein, I've talked to David Cohn about stealing signs, and he said, hey, it's incumbent on the pitcher and the catcher to stop them from stealing signs. Don't get angry when somebody steals them. It's up to you to prevent them from stealing them.
Gomez by nature is an aggressive player, and for him to be told not to go, that's really got to hurt him.
Michael, interesting story before the game. I had the opportunity to meet Pat Quinn, who was honored before the Yankee game and was part of a pregame ceremony. You see him right there getting the chance to meet A-Rod, Brett Gardner, Mark Teixeira, and Joe Girardi. He's got the Lou Gehrig jersey on. Pat Quinn has ALS. He's one of the creators of the Ice Bucket Challenge, he and Pete Frates. So he handed me one of these wrist bracelets that says Quinn for the win on it, fighting ALS. And there you go, Kenny.
He's going.
And he's safe. So 2 stolen bases against McCann today. He had thrown out the last 6 that had tried to steal.
Combining his totals with Milwaukee, that's his 13th stolen base of the year.
But if people want to know more about Pat Quinn, go to Quinn for the Win, his website. A very inspirational guy. And he was thrilled to be out here today. Yes, has done features on him in the past too, but 30 years old when he got ALS a couple of years ago. And if you look at his website and some of his comments and his quotes about how he's going to fight it, you can't help but be in awe of this guy.
Runner at second, 1 out. And the 1-2 to Marisnik. Now, Jack, you mentioned McCann. He's going back to Atlanta. Does that hold any special meaning for him?
Yes, he talked about how being in Atlanta helped build him into the player that he was. He said Chipper Jones taught him how to hit. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And he said just knowing what the pitcher was going to do to you, knowing tendencies. And he gave an example, and he didn't remember who the pitcher was, but it was a guy who threw a lot of splitters. And that one's fouled back. And with the bases loaded, McCann went up there. Strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. Swung and missed at all 3 splitters. And he recalled a conversation with Chipper Jones in the tunnel right after that at-bat, saying to him, what did you think he was going to throw you? You had to be ready for a splitter there. And so McCann said Chipper taught him how to think hitting. He was a guy who was very talented, McCann. He wouldn't have been there if he wasn't. But Chipper got inside his brain, and he described Chipper as one of the smartest hitters he's ever seen.
Right in on the fist. Lined out to Headley for the second out.
Yeah, people know that Chipper Jones, one of the greatest switch hitters of all time, hit 468 home runs. But he also hit 300 from both sides of the plate as a switch hitter. I don't think the other big-time switch hitters did that. I'm thinking of Pete Rose, and Mickey Mantle didn't do it. Eddie Murray didn't do it.
What were Ken Singleton's splits?
Well, I was higher from the left side, I think. I can't even remember it. That was lower batting average, but the home run splits were about what they should be, 2.5 to 1. You come up about 2.5 more times left-handed than you do right-handed.
We're in the 6th inning at the stadium, 5-0 Astros. Chasing Gomez back.
McCann also said he'll be happy to sleep in his own bed, and he's going to have a lot of family at the game. And interesting, he also said his final year in Atlanta, he knew that was going to be his final year. He had no expectation that the Braves were going to re-sign him, so he played that year knowing it was his final year in Atlanta.
Yeah, Chipper Jones right-handed 304, left-handed 303.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm looking at Pete Rose here. I thought he'd be pretty close, but Pete Rose hit 307 left-handed and 293 right-handed.
Now, if Pete Rose were sitting next to me, Kenny, I think he would have known his splits.
Oh, he definitely would have.
To the 5th or 6th decimal point.
Here we go. I was 291 left and 260 right.
Gomez leads off second, 2 men out. Pinder deals. Swing and a miss. Castro down on strikes. We thank Jack Curry. He will, hoping that the Yankee offense finally gets on track. Carlos Beltran is 1 for 2. He'll lead off here in the bottom of the 6th. And McHugh deals a strike.
He's had at least 1 strikeout in every inning, 7 so far in the game.
One of the great things that I've never really figured out, despite being around this game now 30 years, is when do you give the pitchers the credit and when do you put the blame on the offense? Because the Yankees have faced some pretty good pitching.
Yeah.
But they didn't compile all those home runs and all those runs against bad pitching. So what is it? How much credit goes to the pitcher and how much blame goes to the offense?
You know, in this case, I think it's a combination of both, and I think it usually goes that way. You're right. They're facing some pretty good pitching, although Beltran has drawn a walk. First one handed out by McHugh today. And I think what happens is, Michael, not everybody's hot at the same time, and not everybody is cold at the same time. But Beltran's would swing the bat pretty well. But he is sort of like on the ship waiting for everybody else to jump on.
Yeah, he's the outlier.
Exactly. And to have a team go on winning streaks, you have to have the majority of the guys. 5 can carry 4. Certainly 6 can carry 3. But it's hard for 1 to carry the rest of the 8 in the order. And Beltran was doing some of that. But he doesn't come up at the right time all the time.
Well, they need the guy at the plate right now
Yeah.
to start swinging the bat like he did the first 4 months of the season. And, you know, you're not putting an inordinate amount of blame on Alex. He is 40 years old, and these are the dog days, but he has to get right.
And you have to get a healthy Teixeira back in the lineup, too.
Right.
Because he affects Alex's at-bats. If Teixeira's hot, swinging the bat the way he was early in the year, and Alex gets better pitches. Right now, Alex seems to be leaving the strike zone a little bit more than usual. And maybe because he's getting antsy. He hasn't been getting hits, and he wants them so badly that he's leaving the zone.
He has not hit much on this homestand, but that one swing against Minnesota was so big as he hit the grand slam, and the Yankees came back to win that game.
Yeah, but if you notice, that pitch was right down the middle. And even when you're not hitting well, you usually hit that particular pitch hard.
2-1. And he always seems to be just fouling it back, just missing.
Yeah, that was a good swing. He fouled it back. When he's going well, that ball gets hit hard somewhere. McHugh's got the good breaking ball.
Alex, 4 hits and 29 at bats on this homestand. This is game 10 of the stand. Chopped to third. Valbuena takes the out at first as Beltran moves to second. Well, the Yankees have the day off tomorrow, then on to Atlanta for a 3-game set. Friday starting pitchers. Brought to you by Verizon Fios, the fastest, most reliable internet. Williams Perez will go for the Atlanta Braves, and Masahiro Tanaka for the Yankees. 9-6, 3.61 ERA. The game starts at 7:30, so our coverage will begin at 7 p.m. Again, it's a 7:30 start for the game in Atlanta. We'll come on the air at 7. That man will start.
Jack made a good point about both Keuchel and McHugh. They're not really what I would call strikeout pitchers, although they're picking up their more than their share in this series. They want you to hit the ball feebly, and that was a pretty good breaking ball he threw to Alex Rodriguez, hit off the end of the bat, rolled it over.
Beltran's at second, McCann at the plate. McCann is 0 for 2. One and one.
That was a cross-up. No harm, no foul. And the reason why he didn't go out to talk to him because they both knew it.
Two one, and that one gets past Castro.
That might have been another cross-up. I think this time they're going to talk.
Well, I don't understand how there's a cross-up, and that was Kenny, and you don't go out and talk.
Well, the first.
So even if they both knew they blew it, how'd you blow it? There's a runner at second.
Well, there's certainly a mix-up in the signs, and it's obvious that the first time he expected a fastball, got a hook. Second time he expecting a hook and got a fastball. Did he get a pass ball on that?
Pass ball.
I think it has to be. Because that was a catchable ball. It's just he wasn't expecting what was thrown.
Infield is back. They'll allow a run to score. And that will not get a run in. Lowry makes the catch for the second out.
I'll tell you what, the offense is certainly clogged. A pretty good pitch to hit. Try and do too much and you pop it up. McHugh has done a good job of just riding the fringes of the strike zone. That's just not quite down the middle. Just enough that you have to make an adjustment as a hitter, and he got himself a pop-up.
Here's Chase Headley. Changing speeds, keeping him off balance.
He and Keuchel, one left, one right, are pitchers. It's not about the radar gun.
And let's not forget they were completely shut down by Scott Feldman too.
Yeah, he's another guy who falls in that mold of not a radar gun type pitcher. And over the years, the Astros are known for hard throwers. You know, Nolan Ryan, J.R. Richard, Larry Durker, Don Wilson, Jim Ray out of the bullpen. They were known for having the hardest throwing pitching staff in the league. Jerry Royce was there for a while. Mike Scott, you know, another one.
Now they do have Scott Kazmir, who throws hard. and Lance McCullers Jr.
Yeah, they throw pretty well. Different look for the opposition.
1-2. 2-2. So McHugh looking for his 14th win of the year against 7 losses. Still a long way to go. We're in the bottom of the 6th. It's 5-0 Astros. Missed outside, 3-2 on Headley with Greg Bird on deck. Strike 3. Headley down looking. A runner stranded at third. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base in the game here in the Bronx. Well, maybe not specifically enjoying this one as we go to the 7th inning. Altuve takes inside from Pinder.
We've seen the Astros bat around 4 times in the last 2 games. 3 times last night and once today. So it seems when they get something going, they keep it going. And what's unusual about that, this team leads the league in strikeouts. And usually a strikeout will put a halt to any big inning. In one of the innings last night, in the 5th, they had 2 strikeouts in the inning and still batted around. And in the other 2, they had 1 strikeout in the inning and still batted around. And today they had 1 strikeout in the inning and still batted around.
Three and 2 on Altuve. 1 for 2 with a sac fly and a stolen base today. Chop foul. Astros will go to Minnesota after an off day tomorrow. Big series for both teams. Minnesota still very much in the wild card race.
After they left Yankee Stadium, they haven't lost since they left Yankee Stadium.
And they might have grabbed a game or 2 if their bullpen had done a decent job. Grounded to short. And they just get Altuve. There's no loafing with Altuve. Flies down the line like it's the 7th game of the World Series each time, and it's sad that we have to point it out, but every player doesn't do it.
That's why he's among one of the most popular players on the team, and that ball was hit fairly hard, and he still made it a close play at first base.
And it puts pressure on infielders because they know everything has to be perfect. The transfer to the throwing hand and then the throw. Here's Marwin Gonzalez.
Good off-speed pitch for a strike. Another one. Pinder backed it up.
grounded softly to second. Bird gets back to first. He received the throw from Drew. 2 outs. The 0-1. 1-1 on Lowry.
I'll tell you, the last 2 nights, the Yankee Stadium crowds, which have been pretty good, have not had much to cheer about. But I will say this, Michael, sometimes a change of scenery. We saw it happen here with the Twins. They didn't do much at Yankee Stadium. They went on the road and swept the Baltimore Orioles. Just a little further down the road, they played much, much better. Sometimes a change of scenery will do wonders for a team. And right now, you know, still there's some time in this game, but the Yankees have not shown much these last 2 days. Here's a look at that last pitch. Foul ball.
And, you know, you're going to play a team 18 games under 500 in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then you're going to play the Red Sox, who are in last place in the East. So, but that didn't matter against the Indians. They were a last place team, and the Yankees lost 3 or 4. You just can't tell.
But to me, the Indians, they have better pitching than those other 2 teams.
Fly ball right field. Late jump by Beltran. Did he get it? Yes, he did. For the final out of the inning, as the Astros go down in order. Late jump by Beltran, but he hauled it in right in the heel of the glove and held on. At the end of 6.5 innings of play here at the stadium, it's time for the 7th inning stretch. Astros lead the Yankees 5-0, but we'll stay right here to honor America in the Bronx.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise and remove your caps? And please direct your attention to the area behind home plate as the New York Yankees welcome an honored military guest who is joined by his family. United States Army Battalion Sergeant Major Armando Chick Galella from Sleepy Hollow, New York, who served in World War II and is a Pearl Harbor survivor. The Yankees say thank you for your sacrifice and service to our nation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
score. Pineda ends up allowing 5 runs and 4 to third. And the Yankee offense still stalled as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Here's Greg Bird. And there's a strike.
Adam Warren up in the Yankee pen. Appears he will be next. McHugh, a couple of different curveballs. He's got one that's a little harder. Other one he takes a little off to get the hitters out in front. Then he tries to elevate the fastball as he did there, but he missed. He's up over the 100 pitch mark, and the Astros bullpen is working as well.
Three and two. Tony Sipp, one of 2 lefties in the bullpen. And Greg Bird works a leadoff walk here in the 7th.
Yeah, second time in a row, second inning in a row that there's been a leadoff walk. The only 2 of the game handed out by McHugh, but see if the Yankees can capitalize and get something going here.
Well, that brings up Didi Gregorius. Didi is 1 for 2. Dunked a single right. That was in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th. Takes a strike here in the 7th. Driven deep to right field. There it goes. See ya. A 2-run home run for Gregorius. Is it a wake-up call for the Yankee offense? They're on the board. It's 5-2 Astros.
Well, somebody finally timed one of those curveballs. I don't believe it was the best one that McHugh has thrown today. And with the bullpen going, he's up, as we mentioned, over 100 pitches, 105. This one kind of hung right there. Middle. And Gregorius rips his 6th home run of the year. 2nd deck in right field. Not a cheapie.
Young fouls it back. That one is looped to Carter for the first out. And that is going to be the last pitch thrown by Colin McHugh. A.J. Hinch will signal to Tony Sipp with Drew and Gardner coming up.
All-star break over 13 in the 3rd innings. And making his 50th appearance of the year and 49 strikeouts, only 12 walks in 45 and 2/3 innings. And opponents hitting .205.
Well, the Yankees will pinch hit for Stephen Drew. They'll send up Brendan Ryan. Remember, the Yankees are playing with a 24-man roster, essentially. Maybe even 23. Teixeira might be a pinch hitter, might. Ellsbury might be a player, but not likely today, so very few moves that Girardi has here. So he goes to Ryan, pinch hitting for Drew. 0-1. Will Harris up for the Astros. One and one. Yesterday, Ryan, 2 shutout innings as a position player pitching. And now the Yankees need his bat. One pitch in the dirt. 2-1.
Zip, like a lot of players, came out of a very good college program, Clemson University. Pitched for Cleveland, Arizona, and now Houston.
Fly ball, fairly deep left. Gonzalez reaches up to make the play for the second out.
Not only does Gonzalez play multiple positions, he plays them well, and you can see he's pointing to Carlos Gomez in center field, saying maybe he had a little problem with the sun on this one, but he still was able to run it down. Ball at the bat of Brendan Ryan. Concentration, and ball hits right in the middle of the pocket, and usually if it hits there, it's not coming out. Good running catch.
Here's Brett Gardner. Zip deals a strike. Strike. And the 0-2. Strike 3. Gardner down looking. His struggles continue. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. But the Yankees finally get on the board. A walk to Bird, and then Didi Gregorius hits his 6th home run of the year. A 2-run shot. We'll go to the 8th. It's 5-2 Astros. And Warren will face Chris Carter, batting in the spot vacated by Colby Rasmus when he was thrown out of the game in the 5th inning. It was a cleanup spot in the order. Brendan Ryan takes over at second. He pinch hit for Drew. Oakland at Seattle has started. Top of the first inning. Billy Burns hits Felix Hernandez's first pitch for a home run, and Oakland has a 1-0 lead.
Billy Burns is in there for Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
He's a good player. He's definitely one of the candidates.
Two and two.
This is his second consecutive game where the Yankees have had to use 4 pitchers in the game. And well-needed day off tomorrow for the bullpen before they head to Atlanta.
Swing and a miss. Carter strikes out. That's what he does a lot of. Here's Evan Gattis. You know, when you spoke about this earlier, Kenny, when they acquired Gattis from the Braves, it kind of sent a message that, all right, the losing, we're done with that. Now we're going to actually try to win. Getting a guy like that, the DH for you, hit home runs, that was a major move for them.
He's a run producer. He had been in Atlanta, but I think his defensive prowess didn't really translate to the National League. So he gets to come over to the American League and do what he does best.
And it also signals to Braves fans we're stock loading our minor league system. We're going to trade established players for youngsters, and we want to be ready in 2017 when our new ballpark opens. And there's the deal. And then they also said we're going for it right around the trade deadline, making deals. Picking up Scott Kazmir was a big one. Carlos Gomez. Probably a year ahead of schedule, but they saw the opening and they're going for it.
Well, they've been in first place for the majority of the year. I think they just want to solidify that the situation where they could finish first and avoid that first play-in game, so to speak. There's Carlos Gomez, who took over in center field when he joined the team.
Three-two. Driven deep to left field. There it goes. What a blast. See ya. Into the bleachers for Evan Gattis. And the Astros lead 6-2. That is his third home run of the series, second of the game, and just a clout.
22nd on the year. That ties Valbuena for the team lead. That was impressive. Didn't even stop. Over the bullpen and into the bleachers. And when he hit it, he knew it. People sit out there that usually don't get souvenirs.
There's Gomez.
Here's another look. The sound will tell you this is going a long way. And so will Chris Young's the way he goes after it. Nice catch.
1-1 to Gomez. That home run was measured at 428 feet. And the exit velo, which is a new chic term, 107 miles per hour off the bat. Swing and a miss. Gomez down on strikes, and Then his momentum carries him almost to the Yankee dugout, at least halfway.
Jeez. He doesn't get cheated. He was famed in Milwaukee for when he would swing and miss. As hard as he swings, his helmet would always come off. But I guess he's got a different type of helmet here in Houston. And the helmet remains, but he has to backpedal to keep from falling down. He swung so hard.
Here is Valbuena. One and one. And that one served into left field, a base hit for Valbuena, his second of the day. He's 2 for 4. You know, Kenny, you've always known me to be a silver lining guy.
Why is everybody in the booth laughing?
But depending on how this turns out,
yeah,
Dellin Betances will have had 4 days off going into Friday's game. Justin Wilson, same deal. Andrew Miller just pitched 1 inning in 4 days, so the back end of their bullpen, which is so much responsible for their success, will be well rested, maybe a little bit rejuvenated.
Yeah, I can see your silver lining there. Ready to go when need be.
Yep.
And hopefully it'll be as soon as Friday. They'll get opportunities to hold on to a lead late in the ball game.
Justin Wilson will have also had four straight days off. Count 2-1 on Marisnick.
That was Warren's fastest pitch at 95. Certainly got Marisnick's attention.
Swing and a miss. Runner will go, the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Marisnick down on strike, so all 3 outs via the strikeout, but Evan Gattis is. Carlos Beltran will lead off against Tony Sipp. Beltran 1 for 2 with a walk. His single in the first inning extended his hitting streak to 10 straight.
Talked about Beltran being the guy who's been the hottest of late, but in today's ball game, the Yankees have not gotten him up to the plate with a man on. Each time he's come up, nobody on base, and he's still been on base twice with a single and a walk to try and get things going.
The 2-2. Missed outside. 3-2 to Beltran. And Beltran works a leadoff walk here in the 8th. And that is going to do it for Tony Sipp, as A.J. Hinch will signal to the bullpen, bringing a right-hander with A-Rod coming up. Yankees down 6-2. A little bit of a walk away, but still there in the shadows of this stadium. Here's Pat Neshek. Third pitcher used by A.J. Hinch.
Impressive numbers right there at the bottom. The 7 walks, 45 strikeouts, and 199 opponents against. He came out of spring training locked in with his control. Went 24 consecutive innings without issuing a walk to start the season.
Neshek deals a strike. A-Rod's only faced him twice, 1 hit, and that hit was a home run.
Check that. That was 24 consecutive games without him issuing a base on balls. Deceptive delivery.
0-2. (6-2) Astros over the Yankees. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Runner on first base, nobody out. And A-Rod cannot hold up, and a tough day for him continues. He's 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts.
Well, deception is the name of the game, and movement as well. Throwing from down under, so to speak. And watch his pitches run in on the hands of Alex Rodriguez. Kind of starts out low and comes up a little bit. But a lot of movement away. This will go away from McCann.
The 1-0. 1-1.
He told you how well the starting pitching has been doing for the Houston Astros. There's Nick Goody getting ready to the Yankee bullpen. Their relievers have been pretty sharp as well. Hard for the Yankees to get any sequence going against the Astros in these last 2 games.
Still 1-2.
We showed you Neshek's delivery, which includes a lot of arms and legs and an unusual release point. And as I said, you combine that with the movement on his pitches, you can see why he can be a difficult follow. Moving around a lot on the mound out there, like can't get a handle on his nerves.
Popped up. Who's going to get it? Castro makes the play. 2 outs.
Well, with the shift being on, And Valbuena over near shortstop. The one who had the best play on this was Castro, so he was up to the task. Usually you'll see a third baseman come down the line, make this play, but Castro's able to convert the out.
There's Headley. Well, the Yankees took 3 from Minnesota, 1 of 4 from Cleveland. They've split the first 2 here. So this is the game that will tell you whether they're 6-4 on this 10-game homestand or 5-5. And home has been a great place for them all year, where they've beaten up on teams. And 5-5 in a 10-game sit, it's just not going to do it.
You know, what's been going on these last 2 games, it just seems that the hitters are either just a little late or a little too early. Good change of speeds by these Astro pitchers. A little too late. The only one today has really been able to square one up is Didi Gregorius. And he turned it into a 2-run homer.
Two and two. Still 2-2. How about this stat from Mark Feinsand of the News? A-Rod, after his strikeout, is now 11 for 80 in August. That's 137. That's a big spoke in the wheel.
Well, it certainly had been. And you think back to the late July. His last home run in July, right? No, he had
the grand slam, and
yeah.
had another home run.
Yeah, but he had that big game in Minnesota where he hit 3.
And Headley works a walk. So Yankees with an opportunity right here, with 2 runners on and Greg Bird coming to the plate. Bird's 0 for 2. He walked and scored on the home run by Gregorius. The long ball would pull the Yankees to within 1. Foul back by Bird.
You've seen Neshek on several teams. He started out with the Twins a few years back. Also been with the Oakland A's. The Astros signed him as a free agent. And I left out some time in St. Louis and San Diego. So Neshek has bounced around.
After every pitch, Neshek walks off the mound and puts his feet on the grass for a moment, then climbs back on the side.
And goes through the same gyrations before he gets set to deliver.
Oh, look, he throws his hands up. Umpires usually don't like that. Sam Holbrook just staring out there. But after that delivery, Neshek did throw his hands up in the air.
I don't think Holbrook saw him do that.
Let's see why he was angry. Well, you can see it right here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Yankees down 6-2. We're in the bottom of the 8th.
Ball tailing away just enough that Bird can't square it up, and fouled off several of these pitches. He's sticking to the routine, Michael.
High fly ball, right center. Marisnik back, still back, on the track, and he makes the play for the final out of the 8th. So Bird gave it a ride, but just falls short. Yankees lead 2. We go to the 9th. Fresh off his 7 a.m. wake-up call and 3-hour trip to the stadium, Nick Goody will pitch the 9th.
You said he was in Pawtucket?
Yep.
Or Jack said he was there, yeah?
This will be his 4th game with the Yankees. And he'll start it off with Jason Castro. 9-1-2 in the Astros order. Bird gave it a ride, Kenny, but just short.
You know what? I think he just got underneath it a bit and got it about halfway into the warning track in front of the Yankee bullpen. At first, when he hit it, I thought that it had a chance. It would have been one of those high, majestic, flowing home runs, but didn't quite have enough line drive on it. You saw Neshek's reaction. He thought it was gone.
Castro fouls it away. Castro today is 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Two and 2. Pitch is high.
We were talking about the fact that the bullpen shifts by the Yankees. It's almost as if when you are down at Trent Wilkes-Barre and you don't pitch in the game, you know you're a candidate to come up. You're going to be the one.
That one is hit past the diving Bird, and it kicks off the wall, fielded out there by Beltran. Castro is going to make it with a leadoff double. And I bet all the guys on that team monitor the Yankees on the app and see which pitcher is pitching out of the bullpen, how many innings he's going, and then just keeping a bag pack.
Mm-hmm. Shadow becoming a factor here. really a factor at this point. It gets about halfway, then the hitters start to have a problem. Altuve trying to build another run, move Castro over to third base.
One and one to Altuve. Altuve 1 for 3 with a sac fly.
Altuve has added a little more pop to his game. This is the first year he's had as many as 10 home runs in a season. Look out.
And Altuve gets plunked. Just under the Astros logo.
Yeah, looked like he got him right on the tricep and just above the elbow, and you can see the look on his face, and took the slow walk down to first. Yeah, that might leave a mark. Bird up on the grass. Same for Headley at third. Yankees are looking for the bunt here.
Foul back.
I was going to say before the pitch, I'm not so sure the way Gonzalez has been swinging a bat in this series.
Shadow starting to creep across at home plate. Woody, check that. Goody, 1-1 on Gonzalez. There's a ground ball to Gregorius, and he steps on the bag, throws to first for the double play. He scored 6-6-3 as Castro moves to third.
No bunt. Standard double play. Good, he went for the kick save, but usually with the shifts on and the way they're playing in the infield nowadays, when a ball goes back over the pitcher's mound, it's not totally destined to go into center field. You can see where Gregorius is. Steps on the bag, easy double play because he was playing up the middle.
There's Jed Lowry. And a strike from Goody. Lowry today is 0 for 3 with a walk. Injured a ligament in his thumb, and that allowed the Astros to bring up Correa. And Lowry knows he's not going to be seeing shortstop for the Astros as a starter. Opened the door for their phenom, and the phenom has performed to the level everyone expected. So Lowry has moved to third, although he's playing short now after Rasmus had been ejected.
In this 3-game series for the Astros, A.J. Hinch has used every one of his players. They've all played. Every one of them started at least one of the games. So that keeps everybody interested. knowing that their number could be called at any time to start ball games. There's Hank Conger. He started. He's the catcher, backup catcher, but he started the opening game of the series.
Still 1-2. The foul ball back over the screen.
Houston has a very functional roster. They've well thought out team when putting this one together.
And the 1-2. You know, when you look at this series, if the Yankees don't come back and they lose 2 out of 3, say, if you're a glass half full guy, well, you know, the Astros are in first place. But in reality, the Astros are dreadful on the road. You have the 3rd worst record in the American League on the road, and this would be only their 2nd road series win since April. So this would be a very, very tough series, and there's not been a good day for the Yankees. Pineda did not pitch great. And, you know, you want to win the series, and they're losing 6-2. We're in the top of the 9th. It's not a lot to grab. That would be a positive.
Also, this is a team that you could potentially play in the playoffs.
Yep.
And the Yankees did split a 4-game series in Houston, but as you said, Houston does not play well on the road, and for them to come here and win 2 out of 3. Well, it's certainly a feather in their cap, but not much to write home about for the Yankees.
And the Yankees lost 5 out of 7 to the Indians and 3 of 4 over the past weekend. And the Indians, although they have a good pitching staff, they're in last place in the Central. So this has not been a good homestand other than the sweep of the Twins. 2-2. Popped up. Shallow left. Young makes the play, and that will do it. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 9th at 6-2 Astros. Yankee order. Gregorius, the Yankee offense today, with a 2-run home run. Chris Young and Brendan Ryan. It'll be the 51st game for Harrison. A 1.47 ERA, sparkling numbers for him. A strikeout an inning, a whip of under 1. Opponents at 161 against them. Inside to Didi. 2-run home run his last time up. Let's think about the runs that the Yankees have scored in the series. There are 4 runs. In the first game, 3 walks by Ali Perez and a sac fly in the bottom of the 9th inning.
1-0.
1-0. Yesterday, 15-0. I mean, really, what does that run mean? They score a run in the bottom of the 9th inning. Didi with a 2-run home run in the 7th. That's it. That's the offense. Two and 1.
That's not going to get it. There's got to be a breakout, and you just wonder when it's coming. Will it be in Atlanta? Will Tanaka be the beneficiary of some run support?
Nubbed in front of the plate. Castro gets Gregorius.
Castro showing off his quickness. Nice play, bouncing from behind the plate to throw out Gregorius, who was getting down the line.
Young grounds one foul.
Teixeira has come out to the on-deck circle.
Line drive, foul. One and two.
You mentioned Scott Kazmir before. He's going to get the start on Friday in Minnesota against Kyle Gibson, as these Astros try and hold off the Texas Rangers.
Three and two.
And the Astros in Texas will meet 7 more times before the year's over. Well, the season's over.
Lined right at Valbuena, and the Yankees are down to their final out. Mark Teixeira will pinch hit for Brendan Ryan. And a strike. Grounded to first. Booted by Carter. Teixeira can't run that well, and that will do it as the Yankees lose 2 out of 3 to the Houston Astros. They lose 6-2 today. We'll come back here at the